Well, hello, my name is Dave, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about organizing your shop. Now, I'm not talking about where you set your big tools and what corner you put your bandsaw in. I'm talking about the tools that you reach for all the time. So for me, I'm going to use this demonstration for my wood turning tools. I like things being very organized. I like them to be put back exactly where they came from. I like it when I open a drawer, I just have to reach in the spot it's supposed to be, and it's there, clean, neat, organized, and always available. So quickly I'd show you, and I'll show you one more detail in a minute. Here's a bunch of turning tools here. I have another drawer on my grinder station that I'll show you that has more of my tools and the ones I use the most and closest at hand. And what we're going to do today is take this big drawer, it's the same size as the one I just opened, and we're going to make French pockets so that everything fits in its own place. Okay? So let me show you how we set this up and give you an example of looking at the drawers that I have already, so you get a feel for what I'm talking about, and then I'll show you the method I use to set these things up. Okay, so I do need to reposition a little bit to be able to show you what I want to show you, so give me a minute and I will be right back. Alright, let's take a moment and look at the first big drawer I was showing you. So I like having everything very, very organized, as I mentioned. So these are the turning tools that I use the most. And give you an example. You know, each one has the right cutout for the handle, so that when I put it back, it falls right into place. My live centers, everything sits in a pocket. So this in itself is what's called a French pocket. Picked that up 35-40 years ago. I use magnets to hold things. Little things there, like that little piece is going to disappear sometime. Also, this is on a magnet, so it falls into place. I keep my centers in one place, my Jacob's chucks, my bits, and there is some room underneath for things. Here's my brand, and there's enough little bit of storage up there on the other end. And these are full extension drawer slides, which makes it nice. So this is one example. Let me turn the camera and show you another. Alright, this is a drawer on my grinding station. So this whole table stays right next to the lathe the whole time. My grinder's on top. I have a flip up table to the right, and you can't see it right now, but on the left side are my deep hollowing tools. But if we open this drawer, these are the tools that I use the most frequently. So these are all D-way tools, by the way. They're each nicely set up. Till that comes in and out. You can see I keep my shortest handle, the others are on the lathe. Inside are my bowl gouges, my negative rakes, and my skews. On the other side, two small chucks, Allen wrenches that I use. We do have a few of the jaws in here and room for more. They're on a chuck right now. This is something I had my son 3D print for me, something specific to my lathe. But this helps keep things very, very organized at all times, easy to reach for, and I really enjoy having it set up this way. So the next thing to show you is the components we need for the French pockets. Well, as I stated, we're going to take all of this stuff, everything you see on the table here, and we're going to put it in this drawer, and it's going to be all neat and organized, and we're going to show you how to do that. Alright, So these are the components that we will use on the inside of the new drawer. I've already cut them all out. I've already put a finish coat on them. But to give you a quick example, this little piece here, I have two pieces underneath, and they will control the depth for when the circle finder drops in so that it doesn't drop all the way through. And there's a diamond hole that goes in there. So when we set these things up, we're going to determine the depth of each of them just so everything fits in it. For example, all of those chucks in the back, they'll each fit specifically in a hole, and these are the spacers for underneath so that the bottom of the chuck just touches the bottom of the drawer, whereas these holding the chuck jaws only need a very, very small piece because I want them to touch the floor of the drawer and of course not fall through and make them difficult to get at. So this is all going to be put in the drawer, but an important part to talk about is that none of it will be glued or screwed down. The reason for all of these different pieces is this whole assembly will lock itself into place. And this morning when I took it apart, for example, all I did was take out this one piece, and that made it so I could lift up one piece to start with, another piece, and then they all start coming apart, something like dominoes. And that way, if I need to make changes, I buy a new tool, or I've decided the way I've set it up doesn't work quite right, I can easily change it just by pulling the pieces out without having to tear apart the entire drawer. So let's say we go through a mock assembly process and see what we get, okay? Well, here we go. So by interlocking all of these pieces, we're going to create the first front part of the box to drop tools into. So we start with the two side pieces, slide in the centers, a locking piece to hold those together, and then these small pieces here will be the spacer for lifting the pocket off the floor. Everything just goes right into its place. Again, spacers. This way it all stays square. Stuff does move around on you a little bit. Alright, come on, you little devil. This is the rail for the till. Alright, so once all of those are in place, the next step is the next box, which is for the large handle. So I cut this one this way so I get my finger in the handle to pull it up and out. So those pieces are in place, and from here we just keep building on and on. I don't think you need to watch me do the whole thing, but you get the idea that everything just fits tightly in the drawer and one thing supports the other, and you only have to shimmy out one small piece to start to be able to disassemble and make changes to your drawer if you needed to, because things were newly purchased, or you decided something doesn't actually belong in the drawer, you're not reaching for it regularly. So it gives you opportunities. So all we have to do really at this point is drop the bottom pieces in, put the pockets in, and things just start to fall into place. Circle, square, and diamond sharpener. Let's see, I put those other pieces way back here. different awls. So, again, you start to see how easily it falls together. And again, that little hole I put in there so I can grip my finger in here and lift up on this. Other than that, it's a wee bit too tight. So from here we'll go forward. I got my till here. So when it's all locked in place, this slides back and forth nice and easily. This is my diamond sharpening station. I pull that out quite regularly nowadays. So you get the idea. So I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of the drawer together, and then we'll take another look at it. All right, we're almost done. Just a few more pieces. All right, that piece there just locked in the perimeter. These two pieces are going to lock in the tool holders. Now, one thing you're probably noticing is they're different sizes. Granted, I generally grab pieces of scrap and leftover and that type of thing, and just make sure that the stuff fits. Doesn't have to be pretty. It is a drawer. So these are the last two pieces here. There we go. Okay, so you hear it snap. It is all good and steady in here, and we are able to change it if we need to. I think that's the beauty of it. Also, by the way, the construction of this drawer is 1/2-inch maple. The other first drawer is 1/2-inch plywood. Whatever medium you choose works well. The pockets are made out of 1/4-inch plywood. 1/8 works as well, but 1/4-inch, like you saw the trucks go in over here on this side, and they're pretty heavy, so I didn't want to have the sag. The bottom of the drawer is inset 1/4 inch on all four sides, and then the bottom of the drawer itself, I have a support going across this way and another coming across this way, and the four corners each have a support triangle in it. I believe this drawer, when it's full, is probably weighing somewhere between 60 and 70 pounds, I would guess. The drawer slides I have for it are rated for, I believe, 135 or 200 pounds, so I don't have a worry about it. I've never had any problem with the original drawer as well. So let's put this thing together, see what goes inside. I mean, these are just general ideas for me. So this little box here came out of the first drawer I built, following up on the lines that things will change. This was in the grinder drawer, and I keep my calipers in it, and I still use all of this pretty frequently. And I like the idea that I can reach in, pull it forward, and pull it out. That's why I put the slide in here. The tools, I made it so the ferrule lands directly in here so they don't slide back and forth. Let's see. We'll get the whoop. So everything holds pretty well in its pocket. I use this little magnet with the screws on it to hold the screws. There we go. So everything's readily accessible. Now I left this space here so that if I do get another jaw set, I'll pull this out and cut them. But right now, it's a good place for my oops screwdriver. So, what else we got here? Again, these are turning tools I don't use as often as I used to. So they were in another drawer banging around, and I wanted to protect them. Now, the chucks, everybody's got a different size insert, right? Well, mine are 1 1/8. This one's the heaviest, so I put it chucks closest to the hinge size. So my lathe is a VB36, and this is one of the face plates for it. And it looks a little unusual, but it comes in quite handy. And there we have it. So again, everything is extremely easy to get to. I can see looking over here, I've got this piece in backwards because the handles are tilted to one side. But again, it's all easy to get to. It will slide real nice, it'll stay clean, and everything has its place. Now that's what I like about it. So let me get off camera for a minute and finish up a couple things, and I'll be right back. Alright, I thought I'd just take a quick minute to show you what the bottom of the drawer looked like. As you can see, I braced each corner with equilateral triangles, and then as well as running supports from one side of the drawer to the other in horizontal fashion. So I've done this in the past with other drawers and found that it keeps the drawer from bowing. It keeps the bottom much more secure on a heavy drawer. Alrighty, let's keep going. So the question may come up, how do you cut out the French pockets? Well, I have a Hegner scroll saw that I've had for a very long time, and this allows you to detach the blade and then come up through a hole in the board, reattach the blade, and then cut out the inside of it. Now, of course, the other way to do this is with a coping saw, a little easily done, a little more tedious in doing it. This makes pretty quick work of being able to cut out shapes like that. It's a fun saw to have. I've done all kinds of things with it over the years, but just thought I'd show you that if you had a question of how in the world do I get an inside circle cut. Okay, let's keep going. Well, that about does it. I went ahead and straightened this out and whatnot, so I think it all looks pretty good. I've got the handle. It'll match the one on the face of the other one. I still need to make the drawer face and of course install the drawer. I'm real pleased with it. It didn't take too long. It took me about a day and a half to put it all together. Actually, putting a seal coat on it took the most time. But a moment ago I mentioned materials you have. I had some 4-inch, half-inch maple on hand to start with, so I decided to make the drawer out of that. Again, this drawer is made out of 1/2-inch plywood, and it all worked out really, really well. And I've had this drawer for 2 or 3 years now, so I'm real happy with it. And I mentioned using pieces you have on hand. So I had plywood on hand. Actually, this is both maple and poplar 1/2-inch. Some I had to mill to 1/2-inch and mill even smaller. So there's no set in stone rules on how you can do this. Do it any way you want. That's what makes it fun to create it this way. Again, I really like to emphasize my locking method works great, I believe, because you can take it apart and make changes. If you went ahead and tacked down or glued down all these pieces, you may pick up a little more room that the pieces take up in space, but you also lock yourself into either tearing the drawer all up when you make changes. You know, you may get to a point where you don't want to do anything like this. You just want a plain old drawer. You're going to store something totally different in it. But this is a fun way to go. I also got to thinking about at the beginning of the video, I told you about how I really like things organized, and then I realized you're looking at this back wall over here. It's kind of an organized mess. I know where everything is, right? Except when I need it, right? But these are the things that we all, I think, like to do when we're putting our shop together. So I've made lots of changes over my years of using this shop, and come up with some good ideas, and others that I changed as time passed by. But I think this is a good way to go with a drawer setup. Again, my purpose was my lathe is only 3 steps away over here, so everything is right at hand. My grinder station is on wheels, and it offers me the opportunity to just step to when I need it. So this concludes what we're doing here today. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this will prove to be useful for you, and that you can move forward with it. So, hey, thanks a lot. Keep on turning. Well, here we are on the second day. As you saw, I already have everything completely put together. I did a little extra work on the drawer. So some of the things were particularly tight, so I went back through and kind of fine-tuned them. I didn't want so much pressure on the sides that it might cause a joint break or something like that. So, you know, I just got out the miter saw and just took off smidgens. But I'm really pleased. Everything fits real nice and seems to work real nice. I can get to the things that I want to right away without any problems. So I'm going to call it done, and move on to the next big project. So thanks again for watching. I appreciate the fact that you tuned into my channel. I hope you have some value to take away from this, and maybe a project you'll take on yourself. So like I like to say, keep on turning and keep on creating. Thank you again. Bye-bye.